Lacewood sat on train lines connecting St. Louis, Indianapolis, and Louisville. It lay a reasonable freight haul away from Chicago, the West's lone metropolis, and land in this vacancy was still dirt cheap. Lacewood decided to doll itself up to look like what it thought Clare wanted. Weeks before the visit, the town began papering over its crumbling warehouses with false fronts. Every boy over 10 turned builder. The mayor even had 2 blocks of plaster edifices erected to fatten out anemic Main Street. For the duration of the company tour, the town rented an old consolidation locomotive. It ran the engine up and down the line at frequent intervals, rearranging the consist for the sake of drama. The freight even discharged a much fussed-over load at the suspiciously new station. 10 hours later, it returned from the other direction and hauled the crates of gravel away. Clare and his advisers saw through the whole charade. One glance told the Easterners that the decaying antique hadn't seen service in over a decade. Peoria had run much the same stunt, and its fake facades had been fancier. But necessity drove Lacewood beyond Peoria's wildest invention. Long in advance of its August inspection, Lacewood dammed up its sleepy little stretch of the Sawgack, just upriver of town. Ordinarily, the pathetic trickle didn't even dampen the dust on a muskrat's whiskers. But for 4 glorious days in the heat of late summer, the town council built itself a junior torrent. At key intervals, Lacewood posted several fishers who passed as either entrepreneurs or sportsmen, depending on the light. With uncanny regularity, the anglers struggled to land a series of mighty northern pike, fat from off the land, food from nothing, from honest labor. The fact that Esox lucius, the species these men pulled like clockwork from the synthetic rapids, had never, on its own accord, strayed south of Minnesota, touched Mr. Clare. He admired the industry, the pathos in the stratagem. He could work with these people. They would work for him. He glowered throughout the length of the inspection. He shook his head continually. At the last instant before heading back to Boston in his private Pullman, whose builder, up in Pullman, Illinois, had recently created an ingenious live-in factory town that supplied all his employees' needs, Clare acquiesced. Sighing, he accepted the massive tax concessions proffered him in perpetuity and closed the deal. And that's how Clare's Soap and Chemical came to stay. Years later, just in time to stave off the worst of the Great Depression, the globe's largest producer of earth-moving equipment dropped its world headquarters down in Peoria. Caterpillar played for more than 50 straight profitable years and ran up its annual sales to over $13 billion by the game's twilight, at century's end. But Lacewood never complained. Without Clare, the town would have dozed forever. It would have stayed a backwoods wasteland until the age of retro-tourism. With Clare, Lacewood grew famous, part of an empire of 3 dozen production facilities in 10 countries, making answers, meeting needs. Lacewood joined the ride gladly, with both feet. It got the goose it bargained for, and more. For over a century, Clare laid countless clutches of eggs, whose gold only the niggling would stoop to assay. Welcome to Lacewood. Population 92,400. Rotary, Elks, Lions. Boyhood home of Cale Tufts, Olympic legend. Sister city of Rouen, France, and Ludhiana, India. Site of Sawgack College. North American Agricultural Products Division Headquarters, Clare International. Please buckle up. May. Just before Memorial Day. Just this side of Millennium's End. Up on North Riverside, on the good side of the river, a Lacewood woman works her garden. A woman who has never thought twice about Clare. Sure, she knows it. The name is second nature. Traders on the Frankfurt Börse mouth Clare at the mention of Lacewood, the way they point and go bang whenever they meet someone from Chicago. Teens in Bangkok covet anything bearing the company's logo. Whole shipping